I want to fit and weld these pieces in. They're not perfect to each other, so definitely they're going to need a bunch of tweaking. So here those pieces are. So yeah, what I noticed is that I just kind of like overdid it on the stretch of this one and kind of like curved it too much. You can probably see that in there. This one is actually pretty dang good as far as like, you know, where the radius lines up, how it transitions, how it looks. So I think this is the side that I'm going to try and match. So I've just got to do a bit of work to this one to get, what I'll end up doing is I'll probably end up shrinking a little bit of this because that's where I stretched too much. I kind of curled it in too far. So I'll shrink some of that and then go on the, maybe the T-dolly and try and make this a little bit sharper and add more flat here, more like this one. See how it's kind of straight and narrow for quite a ways, and this one goes fat right away. So when I shrink this a little bit, I'm just going to T-dolly this a little bit sharper and add a little more flat to this side. Hopefully it gets it closer to this one. And then we will go about fitting these and welding these in as well so that we can kind of recover everything we went over on that, start doing it on a curve, and yeah. All right, well, that was actually quite a bit of fine tuning, and this is the good side. This is the side I wanted to mimic for the other side. But anyway, I just can't stress enough that it is a lot of work. It might look easy, but you gotta, you know, just look where it needs to go and work that area and then recheck. Like, it helps having whatever piece you have close to your tools so that you can check often. Like, you probably saw me just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and that's so that I can really see what, you know, what my input is doing, so that I know better and better, you know, what a piece needs when it doesn't quite fit. So I had to roll the edges over a little bit more. I had to adjust with shrink and stretch on both these flanges to get it to fit, not only in tight this way, but this flange needs to be level with this flange. So that, you know, dictates how far this rolls over. You know, if I rolled less of it over, this would sit lower. So I had to keep adjusting things like that. And because I had a little bit extra material on here, I probably had more than I needed. It was more work than it needed to be. The other thing I want to show you guys is that you got to think about when the piece is going to drop in, where is it going to go? So, you know, this is going to go that way a little bit. The flange is going to have to come down a little bit because the top is holding this up. So like when this piece actually goes in, it's going to fit a little bit different than how it is when it's kind of overlapped on top. So keep that in mind as well. I do still have a little bit more fine tuning that I think I can do, you know, maybe another 5 to 10 minutes on, I'm just trying to get some of the waves out of here because it did have to keep rolling that flange around. And then once I'm really happy with how this fits, I'm gonna make the other side match this. And what I mean by that is, and why are we not doing both at the same time, is because I want to make sure that this flange here exactly mirrors that flange. So that's why I wanted to fit this, do all my adjustments, and then because those two pieces of metal started as the exact same shape of metal, they're just mirror images of each other, we should be able to kind of align the flanges and mimic, you know, how this is as well, to hopefully give the symmetry to both sides. All right, so pieces are tacked in. Now, you'll notice that this is not perfect. Like, I've got some pretty nice gaps here, but I do have a little bit larger of a gap in this area, and there is also too large of a gap right here. That's my mistake. That was just these pieces not fitting absolutely perfect, so that when I scribed the line, it actually, you know, moved a bit more than I thought it would as it set in after cutting. So I'm gonna have a little bit of alignment stuff to do. This side is quite nice here. This side actually kind of like rolls over a little bit too far. So I am going to have to kind of like tap and align some of this with just hammer and dolly while I'm tacking it. So in this case, because it's got this flange that can easily move up and down, it's okay that I've tacked it here and here. And now I'm gonna be filling in between it because I'm gonna be able to move that stuff. So basically now I'm going to be using hammer and dolly and whatever I can to align everything before I tack it. So I'll bring this piece up, we'll put a tack on it. We'll align these pieces, put a tack on it. We'll work on this area, bring this up a touch because you can see the edge is showing on this. You know, we might get this on the T-dolly, like use the whole grill on the T-dolly and kind of match these radiuses. Those are the things that I'll be doing while tacking everything solid, because once it's tacked in, it's locked in, and then after that, it'll be time to weld it. All right, here we go. So, got this all smoothed out. I did have to go back in and kind of hammer it around a little bit just to get this totally aligned. There is more, you know, hammer and dolly work that we could do in this area just to make it even a little bit better, but what I'm most concerned about right now is that the weld is going to weld both edges together on the same plane. So that is looking good and does not need any more. So I'm about to weld this, fully, kind of all the way around. I did have a bit of a gap on this side. I did have a little bit of a gap there. Unfortunately, a gap opened up here when I straightened this out. This plane and this plane had to come in, which opened this up a little bit. You can see there. That stuff is harder to weld. It's, you know, you could put a backer on there, a piece of copper or even aluminum. Copper works best on the back side, and then it'll help draw some of the heat out of it and give you something to back. But you could just struggle with low amperage and just weld it up with the TIG anyway. But the flanges I'll adjust once all the welding's done. But the actual fit up of our panels is looking really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld it up. All right, there it is. Ooh, still warm. That is how I like to weld with a TIG welder and sheet metal. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit about fit and the welding process itself. Just to go over it again, this is 18 gauge sheet metal. I'm using about 65 amps. I'm using a 1/16 tungsten and a 040 filler rod. MIG wire works great as well for filler rod if you don't have that really thin stuff, but I do like the thin stuff. It's just easier. You know, you get it and it's straight already. Just a tip, if you want to straighten out your MIG wire, just run it in a drill. The other end is in a vise and you just twist it, and twisting it while pulling a little bit will actually straighten out the wire so that you can use it as filler rod. Yeah, that is it. I'm really happy with the way it looks. I really dig the split grill. I can't wait to get it ground down and planished and final smooth so that we can really see what it looks like, because right now with all the discoloration you can't really see it, but I'm going to leave that for another video. So thanks a lot for watching Make It Kustom, everybody. Don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications. Also, if there's another way you'd like to support, you can be part of the custom crew. It is $5 a month. Also gets you a discount on the merch store, which should be your $5 a month if you're trying to buy something from there. Mother Tucker hammers and shrinking stumps. These stump kits are free shipping right now in Canada and the US. You get the grinding disc, you get all the straps, you get the hardware, you get the nylon plate. All you have to supply are 6 pieces of lumber. Everything else comes in the kit. The Mother Tucker hammers are shipping out right now. I've got a bunch of them in stock. These are them right here. Check those out. Big beefy hammers, hickory handles. They're 6061 aluminum, nylon heads, and they are big. This is a 16-inch handle, and yeah, there it is. So both of those are free shipping on US and Canada right now. And anyway, some more exciting news. I'm gonna head over to Brent's shop in Winnipeg, or just outside of Winnipeg. I'm gonna spend a few days hanging out with Brent. We're gonna do a little metal shaping kind of hangout there for one of the days, and then yeah, we're just gonna like kind of create some content, hang out, work in his shop, try and work on one of his power hammers, I think. So look out for that video, and if you haven't already, check out Half-Ass Customs YouTube channel. Brent, he's an awesome dude. He's who came and helped me on the ramp truck in December, and so I'm going back to, well, not back, but I'm going to go visit him at his shop, and he's gonna show me around. We're just gonna have a good time. So once again, thanks a lot, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.